We've had a short rest in the apartment and then we've just left it. Just about 10 minutes away we found this halal restaurant called Dahlia, and it's a modern take on the traditional kebab stores. So you make your order using these terminals and yeah, you just wait for them to call you. So they have things like your usual kebab rolls, donuts, but they also have pizza, which is what we're getting. So the food just came and we got fries, but we did not realize how big the pizza was going to be. Mummy, put your hand there for scale. It's massive. It is so cold right now. I think it doesn't help that it's raining. That's bad enough, but when the wind's blowing, it becomes really cold. So we've made it down to the Maritime Museum. This is for the folks back home. I'm doing a bit of work checking out the Maritime Museum here. How's the museum so far, Mommy?
It's interesting, especially the Viking wood.
Yeah.
The burials.
It's quite interesting. The museum allows you to actually stop halfway and grab a drink, because I guess they realize that people want to break up their visits. It looks like you're on the set of Titanic. That's very soft. We are walking down this very steep hill. It's so steep you can see the city up in front. You can see how the car is slanted. So that's the building there. Look at how steep the road is. It goes all the way down. We just came up from the museum and suddenly it's so sunny again. That's Norway for you. Good morning. It is the 9th of June, a Sunday here in Bergen. It's 10:20 AM and the plan today is to head down to the old town where we're going to see the Hanseatic area, the old town area of Bergen. This is how the area that we're staying in looks like. We were just here last night, but we didn't even realize that we could actually cut through this alley. Just to show you the traditional clothes. This is like their baju kurung, baju kebaya. There's all sorts of souvenirs you can get, as well as restaurants and cafes that you can select fresh fish direct from the catch of the day. You have a lot of shellfish food as well. So you have scallops. You will notice that for the first time this trip, there's actually condensation. Yep. But ironically, when it's not raining, it's fine because it's not windy. So even though it is about 6 degrees right now, it's very much bearable. So the markets continue on, all these food trucks. This is again the mouth of the harbour. We are going to go parallel, and that's the start, where you can see the old houses that have been around since the 1700s. So unfortunately, the main Hanseatic Museum itself is closed for renovations. It's scheduled to open in mid-summer, meaning at the end of July. But this is actually a restored building that has existed since the 1600s. We are standing in front of the row of very famous Bergen wharf houses. Bergen has a long and proud history of being a fortress that protected the inlands. In the 21st century, it has all been taken over by shops, cafes, restaurants. Rains on and off here, but that doesn't really put a damper on things because it's just very light rain. So all over, residents are no longer living here, obviously, so it has been taken off and taken over by shops that sells handicrafts, gifts, artworks by local artisans here. We are in the Hanseatic Museum and we are waiting for a tour to start. So there are actually two Hanseatic museums here in Bergen. One was the one that was closed that I showed you earlier, and this one here at the northwestern end of the old city. While waiting for the tour to begin, we had a look around. So these are some are originals, but some are reconstructions of the original buildings that were excavated on site. And we just found out that much earlier than from the 16th century, in fact since the 1200s, they found evidence of a civilization already here at the harbour. So we're going to wait for the tour to begin. It happens at 12 o'clock every day for English, and then we'll find out more about this place. This Hanseatic Museum is a collection of 3 museums actually. So this is the one that houses the work and living quarters, where they would cook, have meals and all that, socialize. So there are several halls in this building. Some are original, some are recreations. The one that was closed earlier, that was the living quarters. So as he was explaining, you have great halls like this, where different merchants and their apprentices would be gathering to have meals, have an assembly for meetings and all that. The Hanseatic world was actually interesting in itself. The Hansa people are actually from Germany, northern Germany, and the Hansa is a collection of communities stretching all over the northern part of Germany. So as they expanded business northwards towards Scandinavia as well as eastwards towards Russia, they developed alliances, and one of the places that they built a community was here in Bergen. Prior to meetings and assemblies, everyone would be washing their hands and wiping them on this rolling cloth. So they had contraptions like this as early as the 1300s. The Hansa people and their communities existed for close to 500 years before they eventually left Norway for good, and all the areas that were vacated were returned back to Norway. We learned quite a few things from the guide earlier. One of it was actually a scepter like this. It's like a stick that was used by the discipline master of that time to, yeah.
People like to point using a finger, so they will have this, point at the sinners.
Yeah.
You see like the finger?
The sinners are for those who broke rules. And what's funny is they would have their names written down. If they broke a rule, this would have been the
punishment.
Fireplace. And the guy was showing,
It's a stretched and dried bull penis.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. So I'm holding a bull penis.
Stretched and dried, and he used to whip those who have been...
Yeah, who misbehave or broke rules and all that.
It was actually quite sad because we were told that the apprentices were basically children. They had to be at least 12 years old. So children at the ages of 12 were actually sent up from Germany to this place where they would be called and under the apprenticeship of the different merchant houses. So as long as they were still an apprentice, they would be at the mercy of their different merchant houses. You can see that in this great big hall, there would be reserved seating for different members of the merchant houses. So obviously the grand ones would be the most senior, the most elderly one. And then we found out that the two most important people to the head merchant would be the wood keeper, the one who manages all the wood purchases, as well as the beer keeper. So these were the two roles that were very important. We are now in the central kitchen, where the setup is actually quite interesting. So they will have a central fire above the stone blocks here, and all these different pots would be hanging. You can control the height, so that was also interesting as well, how they use grooves like this to control the height away and above from the fire. Also, this was actually very interesting. You see all the different partitions here. So each merchant house would have their own assigned cubicle to do their food preparation. But otherwise, most of the utensils, cutlery would be shared because different houses would be having meals at different times, unless there is a call to assemble by the lead merchant. So we just came out from the Hanseatic Museum, feeling a bit hungry. It's about 1:10 right now. Still drizzling a bit, but it's not too bad. So we are walking towards Bergen's museum. There's a cafe here, so we hope to get some hot drinks and maybe a snack, and then we'll explore this one. We are inside the Bergen's museum, and it's basically divided into two separate floors, the bottom floor and the top floor. So the bottom floor is actually based on an actual excavation site. So there was an interesting story behind this. Apparently in 1955 there was a fire that burned down the building that was standing on this site, and as they were redeveloping the land, they had to dig some foundations, and they realized that what they had dug was actually remnants of a society from the Middle Ages. So this is a very, very exciting find for the people. So much so that they actually excavated over 1,000 different artifacts that showed a thriving community that used to exist here. It took them over 2 years, but eventually they excavated many different artifacts that are on display today. So the ground floor of the Bergen's Museum houses all these artifacts and tells us the story of the Middle Age community that used to be here. And on the upper floors would be newer in history from the 1400s onwards. Some of these are the original ruins, things that were excavated, and they are displaying things like an oar, baby shoes, even skis that were used since the 1100s. It is 5:30 in the afternoon. We've just spent the second half of the day. We skipped lunch actually, other than the snack earlier. We went to the Bergen's Museum like you saw, and then after that we walked along the harbour front to get souvenirs for family and friends back home. We're slowly making our way back to the apartment now. It's been a very long day. We are all quite tired, so since we skipped lunch, we shall head back, and I'm gonna cook an early dinner for the two of us. And tomorrow we're going to do another adventure up to Mount Florian, starting from the funicular, and then we're going to do a trek to a mountaintop lake. So we'll see how that goes. See you tomorrow. We are in the queue waiting to get tickets to go up the Florian. It's not as crowded as it seems. It is exactly 12 p.m. We didn't want to go too early, even though it opens earlier around 10, because it would have been a bit too cold. The sun's still not out, but still not too bad. So this is the train area. This is where we're going. We just got the tickets. It was 90 krona or 180 for both of us, one way, because the plan is we're going to walk down from the top of Florian. That was pretty fast. I think less than 2 minutes.
3 minutes.
3 minutes, yeah. But the train was very fast. So that explains why we are already up here, 800 meters up. We are at the top of Florian, and this is the lookout point. Very crowded, but I guess that's what happens when you have a beautiful lookout like this. Turn around to me. So that's the entire city of Bergen. Stretches all the way. We have just left the main chaotic area there, where all the visitors are gathered, where there's a gift shop and cafe. So I plotted on the Garmin a route to the two lakes up here. So there are two lakes effectively. We're going to the one on the right side first, and then we'll head down to the next one. So all in, Garmin says it's about 6 kilometers, including the hike back down to the city. We'll see. Should be fun. We are not in a rush to do anything else today. We've done most of our shopping yesterday. Probably get some more souvenirs if there's time. Was that a difficult hike? Not at all. I think that was just nothing. It was just 10 minutes of casual walking. We need to appreciate the fact that the funicular actually brought us up all the way here. So all these places are actually at the top of the mountain itself. There's of course even higher elevation you can go. It is 1 p.m. and we are probably gonna miss lunch. So we knew that coming in this morning. So what we did was we brought some bananas and some snacks left over. That's exactly what we had planned to do. We're gonna have a break here, right beside the lake. Pretty little lake, mountaintop lake. Garmin routes your course based on the most popular lines that people have taken. So I guess this is one of them. After about another half an hour, we have made it to the second lake. This one will be a lot quieter, a lot calmer, because not everybody typically makes the trek to the topmost one, but of course we knew we had to. We may not have gotten our typical usual mountains, but this is beautiful. We have made it to the top of Floyen. That was nice. We're going to go all the way down there now. So it's fine. It's probably like interesting. We are making our way down now, but it's not easy at all because it is very, very steep. So as you can see, it zigzags very, very quickly down, just as how we went up 800 meters in, I don't know, less than a minute. That's how steep the drop-off is from the top of Floyen on this side here, all the way back down. According to this sign, we are 800 meters away from the city center where we started. Oh goodness, look at how steep that is. So we came down all the way from up there. Ready, mommy? Let's go! We just got down from the Mount Floyen and feeling a bit, well, actually feeling a lot hungry. We decided not to have dinner at home, but instead have our last meal outside. So we found this Indian restaurant that has halal meat, and we got spicy biryani, garlic naan and butter chicken, and everything looks awesome. So it is, what's the time now, mommy?
8:30.
It's 8:30 p.m. and it's still so bright outside. We just wanted to end the day with some desserts, so we got a salted caramel pie or bun and then some coffees. You had a good day today?
I think I can feel my legs really.
We just checked our Garmin's. I've walked 17,000 steps. And how many have you walked?
19,000. I think that's the most in my life.
Yeah. It's been a good day. I think the hike earlier and the trek at the top of Floyen was really great. So we're leaving Bergen tomorrow morning. Our flight to Copenhagen leaves at 10 o'clock. So we'll have to be at the airport by 8. And it's an hour from Bergen city to Bergen airport. So we plan to leave at about 7 in the morning. Good morning. It is the 11th of June. It's just after 7 a.m. We've left the apartment and we are making the very short trek to the train station. It's just 200 meters away. So we got a fantastic location for an apartment. We have made it to Bergen airport. It was an adventure because we took the wrong train. So apparently from Bergen Central there are 2 trains out, train 1 and train 2. Somehow we got on the wrong train and we ended up going to a different city. Thankfully we managed to find our way back to a connecting platform. So we made it in time now to Bergen airport. Thank you. Just got off in and we are here in Copenhagen.
Lastly, I think this is the first time we've had to queue to get tickets. So there's a long line of ticket machines, and that's where you go to get your tickets for the metro. That was pretty straightforward. You just get your tickets. It is 60 krona, Danish krona for the two of us. And after you get your ticket, you go up the escalator and you head to the metro station itself. It's time for a house tour. Upon entering the door, to the left, there is a toilet. To the right, we enter the living area. There's a nice big TV here and a huge couch. You happy?
Yeah, it's very big.
And there's a cute avant-garde portrait of Gandhi. Nice big windows to let in a lot of light. And we go into the next part of the house where there's a dining area. To the left is the bedroom. So the bedroom itself also has a screen, a TV, and then here is the bed itself. We enter the kitchen. So there's a kitchen here on the left with a pantry. And then the basin is over here. And finally we head to the shower area. So as always, we are just going to settle down for a while, unpack, rest a bit, and then we are going to go out for lunch. It is right now 12:30 and we are kind of hungry because we kind of skipped breakfast this morning. So we'll continue when we get to our lunch spot.